Welcome to Engage on the Go. I'm Judy Maggio. A priority for Leadership Austin is to increase civic engagement by convening even more people in critical community conversations. We know not everyone's available for our monthly Engage Breakfast, so we're bringing these panel discussions to you through this Engage on the Go series. Our hope is to encourage a thoughtful dialogue about a community issue at a time and place that works for you. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, University Federal Credit Union, who's helping us bring these series of discussions to where we live, work, and play.
Hello, my name is Tony Boudet. I'm CEO of University Federal Credit Union. We're proud to partner with Leadership Austin as presenting sponsor of Engage on the Go. We hope this series sparks thoughtful, respectful dialogues at a time and place that work best for you.
Texas has adopted a 60 by 30 goal. By 2030, 60% of young adults in Texas would have a post-secondary credential to meet our state's workforce needs. Yet today in Central Texas, just 29% of high school graduates get any post-secondary degree or credential within 6 years. This goal is driven by workforce projections for our fast-growing region. Leadership Austin brought together 3 panelists who work every day to make a difference for our kids. Where are we and what do we need to do to meet the 60 by 30 goal?
If you look at the 60 by 30 goal, it didn't come out of thin air. It was based on the projected workforce needs. And if we look into the future, over 2/3 of all new jobs are going to require some post-secondary credential. And yet, we have about half that who have that kind of credential now within 6 years out of high school. So I think the important thing is that we all are carrying the message that college really is for all. Most statistically impossible to get a living wage job in this economy without some post-secondary credential.
Yeah, I agree with Susan. Yes, college is for everyone, but it's our definition of college. How many of you are familiar with Austin Community College? How many of you have gone to Austin Community College? How many of you have relatives at Austin Community College? How many of you send money to support somebody that's gone to Austin Community College, right? So when we look at Austin Community College, the thing we look at is we tell people that this is a 2-year associate degree. But what we need to look at is everyone has to start somewhere in order to get an education, right? And all of us are not going to go immediately into a 4-year degree, but it's the lowbrow and the highbrow of how we look at things. If we tell our students that community colleges are a good place to start, and therefore you can either get a certificate or you can get a 2-year degree, but our 2-year degrees are turning into 4-year degrees because we have all the developmental classes that are up front. So we have to figure out a way to make that conversation for the student that's going to college, not you're going here because you can't get there. You're going here because this is a good start to getting anywhere you want to be. I mean, start here, get there. That's what we've been saying for years. So we have to, as supporters of our students, make community colleges as important as 4-year colleges.
House Bill 5, which for public schools really was an opportunity for us to try something new, or for Round Rock in our case to validate the work that we had already been doing. Over the last 10 years or so, Round Rock has been using the academy model of focusing students' electives kind of like you would at college or ACC, UT, wherever, having that major focus and selecting your content area courses that align with that. And so across Round Rock, we've had 5 academies at all 5 of our high schools with varieties of programs of study offerings, but everything from business and industry, health sciences, public service, STEM, and then visual and performing arts. But within that, our students over the last several years have been asked to select an academy, and all of their electives focus on that and take that deeper dive, rather than going that mile wide and an inch thick, really taking that deep dive into their program area of study. And folks are also coming online with House Bill 5. Next year, seniors will be our first graduating class of that. So we're hopeful that students will see across the region and state a more connection to whatever their career choice is after high school. And if that's taking a credential that they've earned in Round Rock, we this last year students gained over 6,100 certifications within our public schools. If it's taking that and taking a jump off into whatever their career is, if it's going on to ACC or another higher ed institution, and focusing on whatever their career path is, that's a wonderful win for us. If it's also students checking something off and saying, you know what, blood and guts, I thought I wanted to be the next Dr. Gray, and that doesn't work for me, and they've checked that off, maybe they've saved their mom and dad a few extra dollars at college of changing majors, but we're really hoping that our kids can find that focus in whatever that passion is, and however they define success. I think that's important for high school students to know that what they see or what they always hear of what college is can look like a variety of different options for them.
I think it's also important that what Round Rock really was a leader in, but what our schools now are doing across the region and the state, is not just offering that opportunity to explore a career, but our research says that those students who took a sequence of career-oriented classes actually do better in every other outcome. They graduate at higher levels. They're more likely to be college ready. They're more likely to enroll in college. They're more likely to persist. So it really benefits those students who take that sequence of career track classes.
How important are mentorships, and can the community become engaged in the process?
At ACC, we think that that's really important because most of us in the room have had mentors, and we've had people to kind of guide the path that we're not familiar with. You gotta remember, at 18, 17 years old, you're not really sure what you want to do next. So to have someone in your life that can take you to the job or give you that experience, or even introduce you to showing up on time at work and leaving on time, having a structure of lunch breaks and stuff like that, which is what our kids don't have when they're 17 or 18 years old. Mac Brown told me in a funny story once when he first got to UT. He said his whole career is based on 18-year-olds who don't get up early, who don't like to work hard, who do all this stuff, and he's supposed to take them out in front of 100,000 people and get them to perform, or his check goes down. So I mean, how many of us base our careers on our 18-year-old and 17-year-old students, right? But that's what we should do as mentors. We have to teach them how to adapt to a world that they're not used to, how to adapt in a situation, and it just keeps them on a straighter path. And it takes more than one mentor in order to get that done. And so I think that's why the workplace comes in as a very valuable solution.
Well, and more of our companies are looking for students who have some of that work experience coming in. They don't want people with just a credential. They want somebody who understands how to show up for a job and what this basically is. And yet we're not offering our students enough opportunities to expose them to the world of work. I was trying to look it up on my phone. Somebody else is probably faster than I am, but just last week, the TEA and the Chamber of Commerce and Workforce Solutions and a number of people came together to announce a big push across the state of Texas to have all businesses offering internships of some type to our high school and college students so they could have that exposure to work before they get out there to take their first full-time job.
I would just encourage everybody to reach out to your high schools, your school districts. Someone has a person in my capacity, usually over career and technical education, that can help you find those connections. Within Round Rock, we're very fortunate. We have a CTE Academy specialist or Career and Tech Education Academy specialist at each high school. They work directly with our academies, our teachers on those campuses, and then also our students to make those connections with our business partners. So you mentioned job shadowing, mentorships, apprenticeships. All of those things are items that we're doing.
Where do math skills fall in the aspect of all future careers?
You've got our tagline all queued up there, math matters. We've also been doing some research on how much mathematics do students need to take in high school to prepare them for post-secondary, and as Sherry said, there are some wonderful things that have been opportunities opened up to students in schools through HB5. There also is what we think is a horrible unintended consequence, which is that our legislature has told students that they don't need to take advanced mathematics in order to succeed. Our research says just the opposite. In fact, Algebra 2, which HB5 just made optional for 4 out of 5 students across the state of Texas, if a student takes and passes Algebra 2, they have a 1 in 5 chance of getting any post-secondary credential within 6 years. to have any chance of succeeding in post-secondary, you have to have more mathematics than what the state has just made optional for most students. So it's incumbent upon all of us to get that message out there to students and families. 4 years of math in 4 years of high school, take the most advanced math you can have, and that'll set you up for more success and fewer of those developmental education classes.
At Austin Community College, we have what we call the accelerator, which is larger than a football field, and it's full of computers, and every student can go in and sign up for these classes and learn at their own level. Oh, and the reason we know it's the largest computer lab is because Dr. Rhodes' son works for NASA, and he's already verified that. So
That's very cool.
We fly drones through it. It's perfect.
that's what he said. And so what we do is it's not just math. It's reading and it's science, as you pointed out, but it's an intimidation factor. When you're sitting next to someone and the problem comes out and they work it and you're still struggling on getting the first part of that problem done, then you're more apt to fall back because you don't want to sit in a classroom where everyone is ahead of you. So we make it more private. But if it were done earlier in the education system, then we'd have less students participating. But when we get students that need that assistance, there's a place for them to go and learn on their own pace and in private. And tutors are all around them, so it opens up a lot of doors. But unless they have those basic primary, first, second, and third grade math skills in order to build on, it just makes it a little harder. And we just have to make that more important.
A call to action. What can we all do to be more involved in education?
Internships. If you heard anything today, I think, yes, our students do need to take that extra step beyond high school to some sort of credential, but they're going to be asked to have work experience, and if every business, large or small, could offer one or more internships, that would make a huge bridge to students seeing how to be successful in the workplace.
I would say start early. 7th grade is not too early, 6th grade is not too early. Start early with our students, have internships at middle schools as well, because I think that's where a lot of the pressure starts and what students are. Teach them about math, teach them something that you learned from someone else, to stay engaged, stay active, and be the face to education. I mean, I think kids need to see someone that looks like them. And saying that, I mean, like, girls need to see women, young men need to see young men, and more mature men that are there to teach them, the way to go. Because I think that what we see is what we do, and what we do is what we learn.
Great.
I would completely agree with both of these ladies, and then also say, be proud of whatever your educational background is for everybody within our community. If it's that someone has a certificate or associate's degree, advanced degrees, whatever the case may be, that's all valid, and our kids, like you said, need to see all of those levels. So in our high schools, it's something as simple as our teachers posting their diploma or a certificate made for them to mimic their diploma, but that starts that conversation and keeps it always going. And I think those folks in our community need to do the same thing. Don't shy away from sharing your level of education and what you've experienced and how you got there, because oftentimes those stories are so much more impactful than you'll realize. And so just keeping education always at the forefront, I think, is important.
We hope you found this edition of Engage on the Go helpful. Greater Austin is a diverse, rapidly growing region, facing issues that will certainly shape this place we call home. Please enjoy your conversation, and thank you for caring enough to share your perspectives with each other.